Hi crafty friends, this is Mary. Welcome to Plethora of Paper. Today I wanted to bring you along as I show you the tour of my 2025 Dream Scrapbook Room. So 2023 I did my last tour and there's been a few updates since then. So I wanted to show you everything and see what you think. Before we get started though, I just wanted to let you know that I did not buy all this stuff. I used to work in the craft industry at Michael's in the corporate world, and I used to get a lot of free and discounted product. So that's how I collected a lot of this stuff. And also I do a lot of shopping, as you can see. And I do love crafting, but I also love collecting. And so as we go throughout the room, you'll see a lot of vintage items in here as well. Another thing that I wanted to let you know was that the room is about 32 feet by 12 feet without the dormers. And so it's a pretty large room, so I can fit quite a bit of stuff in here. But let's go ahead and get started. So as we move along to the left here, we're in sort of a tight area in the hallway, sort of, not in the hallway, but in a sort of walkway of my scrapbook room. And I have a hanging shelf on the bathroom door here. And it's nice to have a bathroom right here because I can always wash off my paintbrushes and do all that kind of fun stuff in there. So I have that hanging thing right there. We'll come back to that. I also just bought this card holder. It's a vintage Christmas card holder. And I just thought that this was so fun. So we're moving along here. I want to give you a quick pan of the room before we go into everything. These are my shelves. And as we move along here, you'll see lots of fun, colorful things. And on my screen over there, you'll see Nancy from Wishes and Weeds. She's another one of my favorite creators. And as we go around here, we have more vintage and more paper. And around this way, there are my scrapbooks. So let's go ahead and start over here. I have this really neat shelf from Ikea. It's just a standalone shelf, but it carries all or holds all of my books, my vintage books. Not all of them, of course, but a lot of them. And I like to display them here. Some of my favorites are these Barbie books that I have right here. I love that Hawaiian holiday one. And then Barbie and Television, which is one that I recently just picked up off of Marketplace. So if you see anything in here that you want to know where I got it from, or if you want to know where you can find it, please just let me know in the comments below. So there's the hanging shelf, and I got that from Amazon. And that's really nice to hold all of my Valentine's Day stuff. Like just little things that don't really fit anywhere else. And here are my Besta shelves from Ikea. And these are really neat because they hold paper and inks. And then they have a regular shelf in the middle, and then they hold some more paper, and then some more 6x6 on the bottom. But as you can see, the shelves are slanted, and those are because these were actually supposed to be for shoes. So I sort of thought to myself, you know, I really would like to see my paper displayed like that, and so we just made them into paper shelves. But here, if you want to see this, you can actually lift these shelves up and store stuff behind them as well. So I love that part of these shelves. They no longer sell the shoe parts of the shelf at Ikea, but they do have sort of similar ones that are slanted like this, and they're called Complement. So if you want to take a look and check those out. Up on the top, I have some more vintage items that I picked up from an estate sale. And as we go along here, I have some clear acrylic shelves that I got from the Container Store, and I just like to put a lot of the stuff that I like to look at on these shelves. I put some glues, some sequins, some little bottles that I get from Target. You know, those Halloween ones that have all of the different items in there, like brooms and different things like that. And then here I have some plastic holders, and they hold some of my paper. Some Christmas papers are in the front there. And as we move along here, I have the iris cases stacked on top of each other. And this is because I really don't access these things that often. So it doesn't really bother me that I have to move some out of the way once in a while. But I have things in here like seam binding, the hankies that I collect, some Dollar Tree stickers, some school stuff, small cardstock and ribbon. If you can hear my son in the background, he's just playing in his room. Over here I have my sewing machine, and this is my favorite because it's a Brother Project Runway, and I just love this. It has so many fun fancy stitches on it, and it just works great. It's just one of my favorite items in here. Here are some of the well, I would say small scrapbooks that I made, along with one of Nancy's journals right here. And I really love those. I do a lot of Paige Evans classes, and those are really fun. And she shows you how to make these tiny little albums. So as we move along here, you'll see that I have lots of Alex drawers from Ikea. One day I would like to have some vintage items there instead, but for now these are working. So let's go ahead and take a look inside. So right here I have my Altenew stuff. I love Altenew, and I collect some of their stamps and dies and even some of their papers. In the next drawer here, I have a lot of Pink Fresh stuff. So I also love Pink Fresh. I love the quality of their paper and also their designs. And now that Paige Evans is over at Pink Fresh, I'm really excited to see what they're going to come out with. Here's where I keep all of my Nuvo paste and some of my foam that I use for die cutting. This is a mixed media drawer. It has all different types of like cosmic shimmer, lunar paste, wax, all different types of paints and gesso and modeling paste. So you can find just about anything in this drawer for mixed media. As we move down, you'll see that I have a bunch of inks in here. I love Gina K, Catherine Pooler, and Altenew. And then in this one, I have a lot of my Distress inks and alcohol inks. As we move to the second Alex drawer unit, you'll see that I have a shelf on top here. And this is an Ikea shelf as well. I like the white Ikea shelves, or I did at one point anyway. I'd really like to have a little bit more vintage and a little bit more color in here, but like I said, these are working for the moment. So here's the shelf of all of my vintage books and sprays. And I really love these sprays. Right now, I am loving my Distress spray stains, and I'm using those a ton. I also have some of these Bloom containers, and they're from We Are Memory Keepers, and they hold a lot of my charms. So the next drawer is completely filled with sequins. I really need to clean this one out, go through the sequins that I'm not using, and sort of purge some. The next one, surprisingly, right, is also sequins. I have a ton of these, and I just love all the different varieties that you can get, and they're just so much fun to make into shakers. Next, I have a glitter drawer, and this drawer is so much fun. I just love all different glitters, and anything sparkly and pink is right up my alley. Here I do have another ink drawer. I actually picked up some new VersaFine Clair ink pads in their new colors, and so I'm really excited to start using those. I have used a few colors, but not all of them yet. I also keep my watercolor paints in here, which I love. And I just got this new art journaling book, which looks really fun. You can take it on the go, and it has little papers of paints in there that you can use, so you don't have to bring any paint or anything with you. And then in this drawer I have some of my alcohol markers and paintbrushes. And in this drawer is my embossing drawer. So I have all of my embossing powders and some other tools that I use as well, but mostly embossing powders. So now we're moving along to the third drawer unit, and here's a little glimpse of the shelf above there. And I just have some more of my sprays. I have the Delusions ink spray, which I love, and all of the Altenew sprays as well. There's some more Distress Oxides on the bottom. And then there are my Copic markers that I got on clearance from Hobby Lobby, which I'm so excited about. I love these. I just need to get a little bit better at coloring so I feel more comfortable using them. But here's the first drawer here, and this is a Horizon drawer is what I call it. It's because it has all of my Horizon papers in here. And this is one of the first collections or designer collections that I fell in love with, and this started me on my paper collecting journey, I would say. This is the first collection that I fell in love with, and it's the Paige Evans Whimsical Collection. I love this collection, and I still use it today, even though it's very old, but I just love it. And this was my first, you know, it's sort of like your first credit card. You sort of get it, and then you're very loyal to it. So I'm very loyal to Paige Evans and her style. The next drawer is my Amy Tan drawer, and I've got a few Amy Tan collections in there. As we move on, you'll see that I have more collections in Hobby Lobby pouches, but these are just collections that found their way in here when I first started to collect paper crafting items. And so I don't want to move them because I know where to find them. This is a Paige Evans drawer and a pink paisley drawer. And as we move down here, you'll see that I have all of my wax seals and wax melts in here. All of the tools I need to do that. One last drawer here. This is my overflow of Maggie Holmes and just crepe paper stuff in general that I couldn't fit into the pouches with their collection. So over on the last drawer unit here, I have my die cutting machine, which is the Big Shot Express. I love that because I don't have to crank the side. That really helps with my hands. I also have some really pretty crochet items that I really love. And above here, I have some acrylic spice racks that I hold all of my Shimmers paints on there, Lindy's and Inklings and Glitterifics. So as we move down here, you'll see that I have a drawer full of ephemera and stickers, and this is what I think of as my animal drawer. I also have crafting items in here as well, such as like these crafting stickers here. This is my letter drawer. So I have all different types of pretty letters in here, sticker letters that I put on my scrapbook pages and on my journals as well. Here I have a drawer of some stuff that I got from Mom and Me Scraps on eBay. She sells collections of paper craft items, and I just love a lot of her collections that she puts together. Sometimes the collections she puts together don't always go together, such as she's got some Fa La La and with Snow and Cocoa, but they actually like coordinate well together. So I love buying from her. Next, we have my junk journaling drawer, and this is pretty packed. This is all of the stickers and stamps that I would use for my junk journaling. Here is another sticker drawer. I love this one. I use this drawer quite a bit. And then lastly, for the drawers, we move down here, and this is another overflow drawer. So I have a lot of crepe paper, a lot of Maggie Holmes, and all of that type of stuff in here that I couldn't fit into the pouches that you'll see in a little bit. So here is the main part of my area where I craft and do other things, such as film, and where my son plays while I craft. It is so much fun. Usually this desk is completely filled with Legos, but I cleaned it up for you so that you didn't have to look at all of it. But it is usually just cram-packed with Legos, except for in front of the computer there where I craft. This is my Pottery Barn desk. It's a Bedford desk, and I've had it for, gosh, I would say at least 15 years. So I've had it for a while now, and I just added on this extra part of it over here on the side. And it's just another part of the Bedford desk, so it goes all the way around my wall here. And I found that piece on Marketplace. I love Marketplace. So if you look over here, I just have some more storage, I don't know, containers on my desk. And they house all different types of bits and bobs and my stickles. And I just like to display all of my vintage items in between all of my newer items. I do have shelves up here where I display some more of my vintage items and my handmade items. This right here is a camera that my grandma used, and I just love that. So as we move along here, you can see all of my vintage findings that I find at estate sales and at antique stores and at Marketplace as well. And then down here I have some of my stamps in the baskets, which is really fun. I just like to peruse through there. They do have cardboard dividers in there, so it's pretty easy to find what I'm looking for. This right here is one of my favorite chairs. I had this custom made out of a vintage dining room chair, and it's got the faux fur on it with the half of the kitty face. And I just love cats. I have 3 Persians myself. So, and here's the back of it. So as we move along here, I have a ton of those Temu acrylic cases for my charms now. I have been collecting way too many charms. So I think that that's going to be the extent of it, I hope. We'll see. Down here I have my little space heater. And I also have a couple of drawers. And in these drawers, I have scraps on the top one. And I divide my scraps into these hanging file folders. And I have a file folder for solid red. I don't know if you, there it is. Solid red, red patterned, solid pink, pink patterned, orange, and orange patterned, and so on. So that's how I keep all of my scraps. In the bottom drawer, I have all of my shipping supplies and also some paper that I use to stamp on. At my desk here, I have my Aeron Herman Miller chair, and this is the most comfortable chair, I swear. I got it for a Christmas present a couple of years ago, and oh my gosh, I love it. I don't think I could find a more comfortable desk chair. So if I move that out of the way here, we have some boxes, and I've got a ton of these 12 by 12 boxes stacked on top of each other under my desk here. And they hold, well, they used to all be clear and labeled, but now I've got the pink ones for Valentine's, the orange ones for Halloween, and then the clear ones that are still labeled are just for other things like washi tape, my bling, some different types of handmade paper, all types of like sequins and jemmies and brads. So I've got a ton of stuff down there. I typically don't use the ones on the bottom, but I do use the ones that are on the top. So like the washi tape and the brads and stuff, those are near the top. So as we move along here, I have this shelf, and this is also a Pottery Barn shelf. And I just love this. It displays my wallpaper and a lot of fun vintage stuff that I have on there. As we move down here, I have the rest of my desk, and this drawer right here is actually pretty full and messy. So I'll give you a peek at that one. This is just a drawer that I have all of my tools in. I know where everything's at, but it does look messy. But I just think it's so fun because This drawer has everything that I need, from scissors to pens to tape to measuring tapes to, I mean, just everything in here. So I love this drawer. I'm always using that drawer. This one has my cutting mat and my trimmer, my scoreboard, and those types of things. And then this one down here has a bunch of stickers, and I have them also in those hanging file folders. So as we move along here, I still have more of my desk, which is really nice because my son takes up so much of it with his Legos, and I'm not complaining at all because I love it that he loves to be in here with me. It is just so relaxing when I have him in here playing and I can craft, and I don't know, I just really love it. So here's my wall of stickers. These are on an Ikea curtain rod, and I think it's called Dignitet is what they're called. So if you're looking for those, these are really nice because you can just hang a bunch of stuff on there and just peruse through there as as you're looking for stickers that you might need. Over here are some of my favorite shelves. I love to display my vintage items on these shelves, as you can see. Not too much has changed from the last time we did the video right here, but I did take some of the books off the top shelf because I was worried it was going to fall. But I think that most of the things on there are the same. Down here I have another shelf from Ikea that I often get asked about, and this one was from Ikea, but it was too big. So my husband actually welded it and made it the size I needed. So it's sort of a custom shelf. Over here I have this cart, and this one's from Ikea as well. It's a really nice sturdy metal cart. It's called Nisifors, I believe, and I really love it. I use it to hold all of my dies and some of my beads on the bottom. Up here is another one of my favorite vintage areas. Oh my gosh, I love little golden books and vintage playing cards and all those types of things. So here they are right here, and this journal right over here is a new one from Nancy at Wishes and Weeds, and I just love that journal. Here's where I keep all of my paper collections in the Calyx storage units, and I keep them in those Hobby Lobby plastic envelopes. So I do have them arranged in a specific order, finally. I do have Maggie Holmes on the top here, and so I have a lot of designer collections, and then I have some of them divided by sort of like the time of year, like summer, Halloween, Christmas, and that type of thing. But here is one of my sequin holders, and I love this. I got this one from Michaels, and I just think that this is just perfect. The little ones inside, the little containers inside, are from Harbor Freight, and they fit so well. I just think that this looks so pretty. And then if you open it, you'll see that it's all filled with a bunch of pink sequins on the top. Oh my gosh, I love that drawer. It is so much fun. So if we step back over here, this is another unit that I recently added, and this is on the side of my fun vintage table. This holds more of my paper collections. This definitely has a plethora of paper inside this room, right? This is really fun because I was able to get a lot of the collections off of the floor, which some still are on the floor over here, and I need to figure out a way to get those off of the floor, but until I do, that's where they're gonna stay. I do have this vintage Coats and Clarks spool. I don't know what you would call it, sort of like a display case, right? Right here, and I got this off Marketplace. This is one of my favorite things in the scrapbook room. So I'm just loving this. I do have a few pictures and stuff that I still have to hang, but my husband needs to do that, and I didn't want to bother him before I did this video, So if we move over here a little bit, going backwards a little, I wanted to show you my table. I love this table. It's on casters, so you can roll it around. I don't though, because it's just filled with stuff. But I got this off of Marketplace and it is just so much fun. I love the wood top. I love the aesthetic of it, the feel of it. And I just think it's so pretty. So I keep a lot of my vintage items in here. I like to keep the drawers open because I think it looks more fun that way. But let's take a look. So I have a ton of like vintage things that I found at estate sales in here, as well as some retro stuff too, you know, sort of like the Tim Holtz tiny clips. Down here I have some items that I've collected over the years, some bias tape in this pretty packaging, which I love. These snippets I just got from Meg over at Chasing Retro, and I love those. Here's some more of my vintage items, some 4-leaf clovers from Temu, which I thought would be fun to add to a journal. Then I've got some Tim Holtz in this drawer, some more seam binding and vintage ladies in this one in my sanding blocks. These are all of my equestrian ribbons and some vintage lace in the back there. This right here is my quilting drawer, as well as I've got some Kathy Holden ephemera in there. And then this right here, I've got a lot of like retro Temu stuff that I plan on putting in journals. On the bottom of this shelf, you'll see that I have a lot of books, which is no surprise, right? And I also have some beads on the bottom there too. But I just have it packed everywhere in here so that I can use as much of the space as I can. Up here I have more of my vintage books, and I have this, which I get asked about a lot. This is a box that I bought at an estate sale and have been filling up with some pins and different buttons, rhinestone buttons, and there's some old earrings in there, all types of cabochons. So yeah, I love this box. I just think it's so pretty. I love going to estate sales. So if we move along here, I have some Elfa shelving from the Container Store, and this holds a lot of my single sheets of paper, and so I store them in hanging file folders. On this side I have pads of paper, a lot of pads, so like from Authentique, what other ones do? Oh, from, shoot, I can't think of the name. But anyway, this is a lot of my Authentique stuff on this side. Then I also have the doilies in the back. And then on this side, I have more of like Michael's single sheets of paper, just organized into color order. So red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, brown, and that type of thing. So I'm getting out of breath here. There's so much to show you. So as we move down here, I have some of my Project Life cards and all of my adhesives. If we move over here, I have a corner of my room sort of dedicated to Tim Holtz and his grungy style, and I love it. So I got a lot of these baskets and things off of Marketplace, of course, and I use more of those curtain type things from Ikea to hold some of my stickers and different items that are Valentine's, Christmas, and Halloween themed. I have some beads over here in the boxes and also a lot of Christmas items. And over here I have my paper shelves, and I got these off Marketplace as well. I really love these, but I just don't have enough of them or enough room to store any more. So I guess I'm just gonna have to enjoy what I've got, right? And then up here, these are also from Ikea, these storage bins. And these hold all of my hip kit clubs and click kits. So as we move over here, I've got 3 Lexington carts from Michaels, and they hold a variety of things. I've got rosettes in some, journals in some, twine in some. I've got my electronics in the bottom one. And then I've also got these really pretty sewing patterns, and I love this cart. I love it that it's filled with sewing patterns and that they're all vintage. They're so fun. And on the bottom you'll see that I got some of the seam binding as well down there, some vintage seam binding. So I just love that. I love this cart in general. Oh, and I forgot to show you my sewing box that's right here. Let me move around here and show you really quick. I'll show it to you after I show you this shelf. This is my shelf of scrapbooks. And I have around 100 scrapbooks of my son's and all of our trips. And I love doing these scrapbooks. I do all of Creative Memory scrapbooks because that's what I started with, and I just like them to look the same. So I do 2 at a time, so the colors are always in 2. And I just think that this looks so pretty, and I have them in chronological order. So as we move along here, I wanted to show you my sewing box before we moved on to the closet. So here's my JP & Coates sewing box, and I love it so much. I think it's so pretty. It's vintage, and I got this from an estate sale. And here's how I have my thread stored in it. I've got that, and then I've got this one, which is so pretty, isn't it? Oh my gosh, I love this. So I had to show you that because that's one of my fabulous finds. I think I showed this in the last craft room tour video, but I wanted to show it to you again. This is from the 1800s, and it is a vintage ledger, and it is so pretty. Isn't that gorgeous? It's from a general store, and I just love the handwriting, and the handwriting is throughout the entire book. So I've got that. Over here on my shelf, I failed to mention that I have my grandmother's typewriter, and it's an Underwood, and I love it so much. It's so fun to have some of her things in here. It helps me remember her. She was such a wonderful lady. I miss her so much. Over here, I have a wall of sequins. Again, more sequins. Can't get enough of those. And some doilies and also some ribbons. Down here, I have my Lawn Fawn collection of their stamps. And over here behind the door, I actually have another hanging shelving unit. And this holds a lot of my punches, the ones that I use the most. So I keep them right in there, which is really nice. So let me just shut that. Put this back. Next, I'll show you my closet, and it is filled to the brim from top to bottom. There's my extra Creative Memory books. I've got accordion files full of junk journaling items. I've got a whole box of Valentine's Day goodies, which I love around this time of year, of course. And then I've got several boxes of beads and paper and old books, and just, you know, this one right here is full of my stamps, and this is pretty filled. And I keep them in those pockets from Dollar Tree and just organize them that way. Over here I have some of my single sheets of paper and some more of my AC cardstock. Over here is mainly my Easter bin. And I've got some more bins up top here that hold fun packaging items, my shred, all of my ribbon on little pieces of cardboard, my just all types of packing stuff, my Mary Mary supplies, just fun things in here. If you look down, I keep all of my junk journaling stuff in these 3 boxes on the ground. And yes, they're hard to get to. I wish I had a better solution for this, but I don't junk journal all that often. So when I do, I just bring those 3 boxes out, and it creates a complete mess in my room, which is oh so fun. I love junk journaling. And I think that that's about it, friends. I want to give you a final pan of the room so that you can see sort of what we went through today. And I hope that you enjoyed this as much as I do. I love sharing my room with others. I think it's really fun to show my creative style by organizing and collecting, as well as crafting. So if you have any questions Or if you're looking for something in particular that I have in here, please let me know in the comments. I would love to hear from you. So thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate all of your support. And until next time, friends, love ya. Bye-bye.